And let's begin by queering up trans rights. Mr. Florida Rubber contest removes gender restrictions. Mr. Florida Rubber recently announced huge news that will impact the diversity of the entire LGBTQ plus community. Since hosting its inaugural contest at the Ramrod in 2009, the organization has constantly changed different aspects of the event to promote inclusiveness. That includes the introduction of a sober social, a greater focus on social spaces at parties, and collaboration with venues supporting an inclusive environment. The organization believes the announcement will take them a step closer to fostering inclusivity. Starting with this month's contest, the organization is removing the requirement of enrolling only male contestants. Everyone will be welcome to participate, and the winner will hold the title of Mr., Ms., or Mix Florida Rubber, or simply Florida Rubber Ambassador. The organization also says Mr. Rubber will go to the international competition where contestants compete, and has implemented the same changes. Supporting these new commitments to the nonprofit has also amended the name from Mr. Florida Rubber to Florida Rubber. The final transitions for logos, websites, emails, all that boring stuff but catches our eyes, they'll be completed here in the coming weeks. In a Florida that's been America's ground zero for gender, trans, drag, and other attacks from radical conservatives, the changes are a significant LGBTQ plus community story. To learn more about the development, events, and packages, you can visit floridarubber.org. And these developments are great. Mr. Ramrod 2020
was
trans, or was he 2022? And the most recent Mr. Ramrod was the first trans man to hold the title.
Yeah, I know James.
Is fantastic.
James is so sweet, such a sweetheart.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Off the charts. I covered him for most of the year, and so when he finally passed the crown on, I was like, okay, now come on over, I'll buy you some drinks, because I was like, I don't want to influence my sources, but now that he's out, I'm like, come on, let's have a couple shots, and we did, and he was great. The fact that Mr. Florida or Florida Rubber is doing this it sends a signal about what South Florida's LGBTQ plus community is. I'm sure Governor DeSantis isn't noticing this because he probably doesn't even know that Mr. Rubber exists. He's still busy hating on the T and the Q and the L and the G and everybody else.
Yeah.
But this is wonderful. I'm excited. I can't wait to go to the event. I was talking with Chuck, owner of Eagle Wilton Manors, and a little bit about this week. It's going to be a good event. It's always a good event, but this is going to be an important year, even if a lot of people don't see it.
It's great too. It's similar, they do different pageants, especially here in South Florida. The pageant world is massive, right? So they already have Mr. and Mrs., and they've introduced MX into the pageant world as well. So I just see it more as a win for us, to be fair,
sure.
right?
I mean, the more allies, the better.
Exactly.
So it only makes sense. And in Berlin, rubber's like couture. I mean, people wear it out to dinner. It's fierce.
Oh yeah. There's a reason.
I love it.
There's a reason Mike Myers was doing sprockets on SNL back in the 80s.
And you can't really hide anything in rubber.
No, you cannot.
I'm not now.
No, it's
Not that at all.
It's a very revealing outfit, and also
outfit.
it takes a lot of talcum powder.
But it does also have a spank effect too, if you think about it. But you got to really powder up. That's why you need friends.
You know what I love about this this progress that we're making is that recently we had an organization from Toronto actually reach out to us. They want to do they're coming to Miami, to do their conference, and they want to volunteer. So they reached out to Pride Lines, and they have a couple of individuals who are trans, and because of what they've heard in the media, they're afraid to come here. And so I literally had to list how welcoming we are as a community, and this just adds to it, right? This level of just being so inclusive of a pageant like this adds to how inclusive we are here in South Florida. And I think around the world really thinks that we're not an inclusive community because of what they see and what the governor's done and the laws that we've had here. But I tell people all the time, no, I feel safe here, despite what you see out there. We're very welcoming.
Definitely.
And it's still in Miami Beach. It's where our Pride Lines office is located. It's still a very very welcoming place to the LGBTQ community. So I had to literally list out everything that happens here, and I definitely went to Happening Out in hotspots and just sent them all these resources because they were legitimately scared to come here.
Yeah.
They were not going to come here for this conference, this work conference,
Yeah.
and to volunteer because they were legitimately afraid.
You know, when
so this
mo-
helps us.
When I moved here from New York City, Lower East Side, you know, trans and girls could not go into any of the boy bars, especially fetish and all that. And I went to Alibi, and you know, there's only so many times you can hear Britney and Madonna, even though it's like 50.
Okay. No. No. I'm sorry. Continue.
So I asked the bartender, I said, is there anything like a little darker, a little sexier? I just moved here.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you could go to Ramrod. And like, well, Ramrod sounds like a real boy bar. Like they're not going to let trans in. And he said, no, they would. We're cool with that if you want to go and just hang out. And I went to the bar and I made friends with the bartender, and it was like a great experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ramrod is my neighborhood bar. I literally, I live 2 blocks from it. I have often walked there and stumbled home. But you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
see you tonight.
Yeah, see you
tonight.
I make no comment about my frequent visits.
So, but this is a great move forward. I'll have an article about it in Out South Florida at some point over the next couple weeks. And again, if you want more information, FloridaRubber.org, and we'll see you there.